What's up, guys? It is about 35 degrees today. It's supposed to be about 42 this afternoon here in a few hours, but right now I'm going to do round oxalic acid vapor treatment on these colonies I have here at this location. I'm going to end up moving all these to my other 2 bee yards that I've attained in the past few weeks. So last week we figured out that those big ass 8-amp batteries will do 20 hives. I'm curious to see if it will do the same thing today since it's a little bit colder. So we're going to see how well they work out. I'm going to do a hyperlapse for you guys and see how fast we can get this yard done.
Alright guys, my heater's about up to temperature. It just hit 432, so it ought to heat up here in the next few seconds to temperature. We're going to see how fast we can get through these 12 colonies.
Well, it took about 20 minutes. 36 degrees out, and the bees are still coming outside of the hive. Actually had some flying back to the hive while I was vaporizing the boxes. I don't know if they were just taking a cleansing flight or if they were flying back from the feeder I've got set out for them. Guys are, or girls are a little crusty looking. Especially that one there. That one there's got some crystals on the top of her back for sure. Hopefully the camera's picking that up. Looks like they're coming outside to groom themselves, kind of. They're definitely crystallized though. You can see how light colored they look. Also, I'm still using 4 grams per brood box. So, you got 2 brood boxes. Like I pointed out last week, this is a breeder queen hive that I've selected to be a breeder queen for this coming season. I hit her twice in a row, so she got 8 grams of oxalic acid earlier. So we've got 12 hives, but I did 13 charges, so to speak, out of the vaporizers. So we're sitting pretty good so far on that battery. So I'm just letting this cool down. I'm going to put it in the back of the truck after I take the battery off of it. But the voltage is at 18.4. I don't know why it's so glitchy looking on this camera. There we go. Must be the polarization of the plastic and the lens or something. 18.5. So we're doing all right. Last week we got 20 charges out of 1 battery. Let's see if it'll do it again. Almost to the next bee yard. Just got to the next bee yard, y'all. This battery's got, come on, focus camera. Here we go. 2 bars left. So, hope it'll make it through these next 10 hives. As I was sitting here a moment ago, it seemed like they were flying in and out quite a bit. It's only maybe 40 degrees. Yeah, I mean, it almost looks like they're foraging. They're in and out so much. See if I can zoom in on them for you. Yeah. Cool. That just tells me they're not going to be clustered super tight inside of the hive. So the oxalic acid vapor will work even better than it would have if it was really cold and they were clustered really tight inside the box. So I'll almost bet I don't have my veil on or anything, but I almost bet they're just coming over here to the feeder and checking it out. Well, honestly, I'm not seeing any activity, honestly. That's empty. These girls ought to be pretty heavy. I'm sure this, yeah, that's even lighter than the other one, just because it's got leaves in it, I guess. But let's check the powder I put up here for them. Oh, look at there, it's all gone. Other than the stalactite pieces that they left behind. I think I've got some more in the truck, so I'm going to go ahead and refill this for them just to give them something to do. May get them to start brooding up a little sooner than normal anyway, which is what I kind of want. I'd love to be able to make splits in the middle of March this year and get all my splits established and queen right before the flow starts. That would be so awesome. Get her warmed up. Starting at 52 degrees. I just don't understand why it's so blinky on this camera. It is not blinking at all in real life. It's so weird. I'm gonna have to do some research on why it looks like that on this camera on the phone. But you can see how fast it warms up though. It's quite quick, which is nice. It doesn't take but just a couple minutes with a good hot battery to get it up to temperature. When we started at 50, 55 or whatever, we're already up 70 degrees in less than a minute probably, so it's not going to take very long.
Alright, I'm ready to roll again. I went down there to the entry point to that last hive because they're pretty ornery. So, wanted to get them squared away before I vaporize them. Since I don't have my full suit on by any means, I just have on winter clothes and a veil and some gloves pretty much, plus this this mask or whatever. So, you know what they say in MXC, get 'em! Only made it to number 18 today. So, see, 1, 2, 3, yeah. We only got 18 hives done with that one battery today instead of 20. So, it is colder, but, you know, I guess 18 is not bad.
Alright, we're all done with the vaporizations. Just letting the unit cool down. Let's see how many bars of battery we got here. Pulled the cap out. That bad boy's still steaming or vaporizing. Burn off impurities, whatever. I've noticed once it hits about 400 degrees when it starts smoking now. So, anyways, look at this here. I still got 3 bars. So we did 5. So we did half these colonies. Yeah. With the first battery from the first yard. So we only had 5 colonies on this new battery here. And it's still got 3 bars on it. So hopefully it would do, since the unit was already warmed up whenever I put this battery on it, I wonder if it would go ahead and do 20 colonies, you know what I mean? That's something I'll probably find out this coming season once I do all my splits and everything. Definitely be able to push it a little bit further, having 40 to 50 colonies, so we'll have to do a video on that sometime. Number 1, number 2. Something else I was wanting to do again today, like I did my new yard yesterday, get them prepped, was this Grub-X. That's a pollen sub bucket from Man Lake, but I wrote Grub-X on the top of it, so it's got Grub-X in it. We go through here. I've already done this maybe twice this last year. Grub-X'd out in front of all these colonies, but I didn't get around to doing it the first time till probably in May, I would say. Maybe late April, something like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a little bit of ground prep. Pre-soak I can't talk right now. Pre-soak, if you will. Get the ground prep for the beetles. So hopefully it'll cut their numbers down. They weren't terrible out here last year, but anything you can do to cut them little suckers down pays dividends in the end. I don't know which colony it was, but I do remember pulling supers off these when I made that one video. I took the supers, stacked them up over here, and let them rob them out, take the food back to the hives, get them kind of heavied up for winter time. One of these colonies had a ton of beetles in it. I don't remember which one it was. I think it was like from the middle to the east here. But, ooh, look at that bearding. Crazy girls. That's the ornery colony. They weren't bad to work all year long, other than real early in the season last year. They weren't aggressive during the flow, or even like in October, September, August, those months, they weren't bad to work. But as soon as it got cold and they went into wintertime mode, any vibration at all on that hive of theirs, they come pouring out the entrance looking for a fight, basically. So, yeah. I ain't too worried about them making it through the winter, though. Man, this colony here had a ton of bees out front earlier. Now there's like hardly any. Even before I gave them the vaporization, there was several bees on the entrance I showed y'all. I have noticed, I open fed them, I don't know, a week or two ago. And I'm not worried about it, but I have seen a little bit of moisture, like they're curing the sugar syrup inside the hive, getting it ripened, so to speak. But at the same time, it's been in the 60s, so it's been decent weather for them to process that food. So, anyways, I'm going to do the Grub-X, get this ground prepped. So one thing I noticed about open feeding, I like open feeding, but one thing I've figured out that I don't like is the beetle factor. Let me show you something. So I'm going to go ahead and Grub-X all the way around these, like I would my hives. I don't have any video to show you guys. Actually, hang on a second. Let's go look real quick. Well, I was going to show you guys the inside of these, but I had cleaned them out before I open fed last time. What I was going to say was, you'll end up with a bunch of dead bees typically. I don't know if it's from fighting or drowning or both, whatever, but you're going to end up with a bunch of dead bees inside of whatever kind of feeders you're going to use. And the beetles figure that out eventually. Oh, excuse me, blackberry. And you really don't want that, because they'll lay their eggs, they'll actually leave the hives and go over to your feeders, lay eggs in there, the larva will hatch out, and then the larva will come out, go into the ground, pupate and all that, and return as another beetle. And there's nothing over here, so to speak, as far as bees go to police it. They're just looking at this as a food source. They don't really protect it per se like they do their hive, like they would their combs inside the hive. So that's one con about open feeding, is you could be breeding beetles at the same time. So I'm going to go all the way around this, Grub-X it really good. Who knows, there could be some larvae. I don't know if their beetle larvae will stay in the ground all winter long and then come up in the spring once the soil warms up or not. But regardless, I'm going to go ahead and treat this just like it was a hive. He's about to leave, and it's not coffee, it's pollen sub. I almost forgot to give these girls pollen substitute up here in this little make constructed of an extra lid. Let's see. How much does this weigh, I wonder? Let's see here. Not the lid, but I'd say this probably weighs a couple pounds. I've got a couple pounds of food in there for him. Let's get the lid popped here. Oh, yeah, bud. Pour it all right there in the middle for him. I don't know what other critters would be coming up here and getting any of this, other than maybe some other kind of a hornet or a wasp, but I highly doubt it, because they don't really take flight, I don't think, like bees will in the wintertime, like for cleansing flights or even to forage. I think they just kind of stay tucked away. So anyways, that's definitely more than a pound. I'd say it's probably close to 2 pounds. Just give them something to do. And if anything, it'll help them raise their brood a little bit. It is January 11th, so I'm probably, this is treatment number 2, so I'm going to probably hit them 3 more times over the next 3 to 4 weeks with the oxalic acid vapors. And I think on the last vaporization, I'm going to give them all a homemade pollen patty to really try and kickstart them into making some brood. Hopefully the weather will be, I don't want to end up with a bunch of chalk brood or something. But the way this winter's going, man, it's chilly today, but it's blue skies and no wind. It's beautiful out here. All I've got on is a t-shirt and a light jacket, and that's plenty warm for what I'm doing. But anyways, I hope you guys learned something. Good luck with you all and your bees. Catch you on the next one. See you all next week, girlies. Looks like they've all gone inside. I'm sure this camera wouldn't pick it up, even if I stood still, but I can hear like the hum of their wings inside of almost every single hive. So I don't know if they're trying to get the crystals off their wings, or if they're just grooming themselves. But I don't think they'd be trying to cure out some, the sugar syrup that I gave them. It's got to be from the oxalic I gave them. But that's kind of cool. You can hear them all the way out here. I'm sure you can't hear them with the camera on this phone, but since there's no wind, I can just stand here and just hear that beautiful hum of their wings. Just nonstop. It's awesome.